Hello there, you're welcome to HisGov TV. My name is Collins Nanaya Abebese. So in this video, we are going to look at the effect of the 1948 rout or disturbances. Before we begin with our discussions, I would like to remind you to subscribe to our channel if you have not done so. And if you have already subscribed, we thank you very much for your support. We are committed to giving you history, government, religious studies, all based on the WASIS levels. We will be adding past questions and other things. So you can share our link to your friends as well. Now, before we even delve into the effect of the 1948 rout, in our previous video or lesson, we looked at the 1948 rout, its causes. We looked at the immediate and the remote causes of the 1948 rout. So if you have not checked that video, I would recommend that you go and check in our playlist. You can find it there. And then before you can come and watch this video. This is a continuation of that lesson. Now, let's remind ourselves about what we learned about the 1948 rout. And we said that the 1948 rout had both remote and immediate causes. The immediate causes, one was the boycott of European goods, which was actually organized by Nii Adjetey, the Osu Alatamanche, that's the chief of Osu, who actually led to a national boycott. He formed the national boycott movement, and their aim was that European goods or immigrants, merchants were selling their goods at a higher price beyond the purchasing power of the ordinary Gold Coasters, and so they felt that the colonial administration was supposed to do something about the prices. And of course, the colonial administration agreed to reduce the prices of these goods. However, 2 days earlier, that was 28 February. So the boycott was organized on 26th, and then 2 days, of course, the British had agreed that in the next 2 days they would reduce the prices of goods, which was to be on the 28th. And it was on that same 28th when the ordinary Ghanaians was expecting a reduction of prices in the commodities or items. It was on that same fateful day that the ex-servicemen who had fought alongside the British in the Second World War embarked on a peaceful demonstration to the governor's residence at the Christianborg Castle, Gerard Greasy, and they had gone there to actually send their petition to the governor concerning their deteriorating conditions, because the British did not fulfill their promises as they promised these ex-servicemen during the war or before they were even recruited into the war. And they met a man known as Emery. Now Emery ordered them to stop. They refused, and Emery took guns and then shot through these ex-servicemen, leading to the death of Sergeant Nii Adjetey, for Private Odartey, and then for Corporal Attipoe, and a lot of these ex-servicemen also sustained various injuries. So when the Gold Coasters heard this news, bad news, they then decided that we will not even wait for the British to even reduce the prices of the commodities as we have anticipated. So these Gold Coasters decided to storm European shops, European shops, looted everything, and it spread like wildfire simultaneously across the whole nation. In Ghana, it started from Accra, then the people of Accra also heard it, the people in Kumasi also heard it, and it became like a wildfire. Everybody, all European shops across the country were looted by these Ghanaians or by Ghanaians. Afterwards, we also learned that there was the establishment of a commission of inquiry, which was the Watson Commission, to look up into the reasons for the behaviors of the Gold Coasters, and they came up with certain findings and as well as recommendations. All right, so you can check that on. I can't say everything over here. Now, we said that the 1948 rout was a turning point in the history of Ghana's struggle, or the Gold Coast struggle for independence. So let's look at the effect of this rout. Let's begin with our first one. Let me make my pen ready. Now, the first effect was that the rout led to the arrest and detention of the Big Six. Okay, now the Big Six were not responsible for the disturbances, yet the colonial government accused and incarcerated them for about 6 weeks, but this rather turned them into national heroes as their arrest intensified the nationalist struggle against colonialism. So in our earlier discussions, I did say that the arrest of these Big Six, which became known as Big Six, the people or the Gold Coasters started to refer to them as Big Six, was somehow not accurate. We can't call them Big Six, and for several reasons we have been portraying them to the public as if these 6 people, you see their pictures on a lot of the currencies, as the founder or the founders of Ghana. In fact, some of them actually, there were a lot of people who had already fought for independence. So I think that as a country, the notion that these Big Six were the ones that helped the Gold Coast to gain independence is false. They did their part, but they were not the only people, and they are not the only father of the nation, as is being portrayed by some politicians. There are other people, a lot of them, so we should actually celebrate all of them, as the president advocated some time ago. But he himself later on was projecting the image of these Big Six instead of trying to find a way to project a lot wider people's image rather than just the Big Six. So the rout led to the arrest and detention of the Big Six, the people that we call the Big. So that brought about the Big Six. The whole idea of the Big Six was as a result of the rout. Okay, good. The next one was that the institution of the Watson Commission of Inquiry. So the rout led to the institution, a National Commission of Inquiry, which was known as the Watson Commission, headed by Mr. Andrew Aiken Watson, an English lawyer. The commission was to investigate the causes of the rout and to make appropriate recommendations to avoid the recurrence of such incidents in the Gold Coast. So if you watched our previous lesson on the 1948 rout, we said that the Watson Commission was established under the chairmanship of Aiken Watson to look into the causes, and they were the ones who actually came up with the remote causes, and you can check that in our other lesson as well. Now let's look at the next one. There was also a sharp increase in political awareness. All right, the rout led to a sharp increase in political awareness and outright demand for self-determination. So after the 1948 rout, Ghanaians became politically aware. They really saw the effect of the rout, and they felt that the citizenry were supposed to be part of the politics of the country, and so they were demanding for independence, self-determination, independence, the right for them to actually choose their own leaders through the ballot box. All right, so it led to an increased sharp in political awareness within the Gold Coast. Now the next one was that it erased the British complacency. So erasure of the British complacency. In our earlier discussions, I did say that the Gold Coast was a model colony for the British. Okay, and so for a long time, the British had believed that the Gold Coast was a model or colony whose people were comfortable to live under colonial rule. The rout therefore served as a loud wake-up call for the British authorities to quicken the independence process in the Gold Coast. So as I drew analogy between the Gold Coast colony and that of Kenya, and even in Tanzania, in the East African countries, the British had a tough time over there with their, of course, colonies, because some of them were actually engaging in armed fight. So they were actually shooting each other. If you go to Kenya, for instance. So, but in the Gold Coast, there was nothing like that. There was no instant where Gold Coasters took arms and then decided to, fight the British. No, it never occurred or happened at any point. And so this erased that complacency that, oh, the Gold Coast was very peaceful and they love us, they want us to be there and all of that. This really event erased that perception. All right, and so the British now became aware that indeed the Gold Coasters were not willing to be under their rule anymore, and that might have, of course, accounted for the reason why the Gold Coast or Ghana has been a peaceful country. I think that we should continue in that direction. Good. So we have come to the end of our discussion. Today's discussion was very, very short because it is a follow-up to our other lessons. So that's why we have a review question here. You can try your hands on them. These are all past questions. List any 3 leaders of the United Gold Coast Convention, and I can add who were arrested during the 1948 rout. So even though we didn't mention them here, it's a follow-up to the other lesson, but you can mention some of them. Then also an object question is here, 2016. Identify 4 reasons for the formation of the UGCC. So the 4, of course, reasons for the formation of the UGCC. And let me also add my own. Identify the grievances of Ghanaians after the Second World War, or the causes of the 1948 rout. So you can be trying your hands on these questions. Thank you very much for your time, and do not forget to share, like, and subscribe to this channel.